the best thing on the internet yesterday that I loved.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one 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 is above the law.
Except Hunter. Right. John Travolta in the corner.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Son of a bitch, right. So also a community note has been added to Biden's post declaring that no one is above the law. I just love that so much. It's the greatest. Look at that.
Actually, there is someone above the law.
Somebody's above the law.
And just wait, there's gonna be pardons for Jim Biden. That's his name, right? The brother's name. Jim,
oh yeah,
James.
we're getting to that because that like KJP actually is gonna because KJP addresses that. I have that at the end of this section here because she has been asked about pardons and there are a ton more coming, you guys.
Oh my God.
A ton more. Yeah, because these people are corrupt AF. Anyways, Scott Jennings. Jennings. I don't do it as well as her. But he was pure fire yesterday. This clip, I had to cut this clip down. I didn't want to. It was such a great clip. It was like 4
minutes long.
Oh my God, it was a thing of beauty. And I had to cut it down and it pained me. But here's Scott Jennings.
Possible case for Donald Trump that anybody could possibly make it, and that's that our government and our justice system is of, by, and for the elites and nobody else. He ran to banish Trumpism from our political system in this country, and he has left it politically and now institutionally the strongest possible political force in this country. It is a complete and utter failure by the head of the Democratic Party and the President of the United States. Never again do I want to hear, oh, Donald Trump's a liar. You can't believe anything he says. Donald Trump will abuse his power. Donald Trump will only use the system to benefit himself and his family and so on and so forth. Never again. I have one question for Karen, and that is, why did he need an 11-year blanket pardon going back to 2014 when Joe Biden was the vice president? We are sitting on the biggest cover-up of who knows what crimes. And Joe Biden, amazingly, knows exactly, roughly, when it started. He knows just about when it all started. He's leaving office in complete and total disgrace. He is a liar, and there is no other way to spin this today. This has nothing to do with Trump and everything to do with the character of Joe Biden.
Boom.
I mean, and he went on, and then she was like taking it so personally. Oh God, Scott. Oh yeah. And Scott is so right, because remember all these other people who were so smug about this, and now they're like making excuses. Like remember Andrew Weissman, who lectured us on Biden's character.
Why is he gay?
Why is he gay?
Living the rule of law. He is living it in in the most personal way. He is not pardoning his son, which he could do. These are federal charges. Right. He is not doing that. He is not doing it because he is living what it means to have a rule of law in this country. Yeah. And it is, I mean, if you want to know if he believes it, you could actually see what is happening with his own son. I mean, I'm not saying that he should get credit for it because it is the right thing to do.
That's the norm, but Trump is beneath it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's that the idea that you can't see it, or is that really what's going on? Or when you can see what he is actually living by is his own son is being prosecuted, and he is allowing the norms that are required to live in a democracy to go forward.
God, he's just on such a
what
moral.
Does he say today?
I know.
What is anybody saying now?
Has anybody checked on him or Nicole Wallace for that matter? These people are just insufferable.
But they're excusing it. They're all about it. Everybody's fine with it now.
Mm-hmm. Everybody is. And Politico gave us this 3-act play. Can you see this 3-act play? This is great. Yeah. So like the president says he won't pardon Hunter Biden. Biden issues a pardon for his son Hunter. And then Republicans pounce on him. They're so mean, you guys.
We've seized and pounced
We've pounced
on this news.
We're so mean. God, we're awful. Okay, we have to also go back in time to reminisce a little bit about Adam Schiff in 2018. If you remember this little clippy clip.
Libby, Congressman, has inspired you to propose new legislation. What exactly would it do?
Okay.
What it would do is say that in the event the president pardons anyone in an investigation in which the president is a witness, a subject, or the target, those investigative files will all be turned over to the Congress.
That's weird.
The Congress ought to know whether the president is using the pardon power to obstruct justice. The American people have a right to know. I think it is clearly constitutional. It doesn't prohibit him from granting a pardon, even a pardon he shouldn't grant.
Right.
But it does say that we will be able to at least find out whether the president is using this power to shield himself from liability.
It offers transparency at the very least.
Yes. I'm surprised that he didn't participate in a pardon power panel. He should have. He should have totally been on one of those. And then you guys cannot forget about smug asshole Daniel Goldman.
Oh my God,
In
that
July of 2023, just after that plea deal fell through, this
Look at
is
his
what you
face.
said. I want to watch.
Watch his face. She's making him watch.
Do you think a pardon for his son would be a mistake?
Yes, and I don't think there's any chance that President
Oh.
Biden is going to do that, unlike his predecessor, who pardoned all of his friends and anyone who had any access to him. And I think you see that in this case, where he kept on, and Merrick Garland kept on, a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney to investigate the president's son. If there is not an indication of the independence of the Department of Justice beyond that, I don't know what we could look for.
I mean, what does that feel like, watching yourself back then, reassuring people that Biden was not going to issue a pardon for his son?
What does it feel like?
Yeah, and I think that if that plea agreement and that plea deal had gone through, there would be no pardon.
Oh.
That was a satisfactory outcome.
It'd already fallen
that
through.
only. Sorry?
When you reacted,
You should be
this was
sorry.
when the deal had
You
fallen
should be
through.
sorry. Yeah. What was up with his hair? He had his hair dyed. He got a little bit of a Justin Timberlake thing going on there. The hair dye.
That's
got
pretty
touched-
amazing that she made him sit there and watch that, and then literally her question was, "How does that make you feel?"
with the split screen. That was my favorite. Like we had to watch his face watch the clip, which was so great. Way to go, CNN. Like that was.
And
That was
Brianna
great.
Kalar, look
Yeah.
at you go.
I know. She was like, we're going to make you watch it. Watch what you do. I love it. It was so great. Okay. We also have to include a clip from The View because, of course, we do, right? Whoopi still thinks Hunter is different from other criminals because of the drugs, you guys. It was the drugs.
I understand why he would do it, but I wonder to understand why lie about it for so long.
I'd stop calling it a lie.
Okay, why repeatedly say you're not going to and you do? And secondarily, for the part of this country, half of it that doesn't support Biden, doesn't know him personally, doesn't get to have phone calls, and they're just looking at a system that seems like it only benefits the people who are in power.
I'm going to say,
what precedent does that set?
Well, here's what it sets. It's a precedent for all of us to open our eyes because we've elected someone who is in a similar situation, who didn't have a drug problem, who knew what he was doing.
Oh my God.
Who clearly stood and said, I can do this. And he did it. So I think, for many, many reasons, this is very different than any other situation that we have ever dealt with.
It's just because Hunter was on drugs that
Right.
it's okay?
Well, I mean, no
What?
other criminal has ever been under the influence of drugs, Mock. No other criminal ever. So, I mean, so basically with this precedent set that every other criminal that's ever been under the influence of drugs should be let go.
Right, because it was really the drugs.
It was the drugs, you guys.
They can't be held responsible.
No, if you do drugs, you shouldn't be held responsible for doing said drugs and doing other crimes when you're doing said drugs, according to Whoopi. Oh my God.